This is Bret with Azeroth Rediscovering. Over there is Jess. Say hi, Jess.
Hi, Bret. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jess. Hi, everybody. Jess.
What?
This is a podcast, and we talk about World of Warcraft. Did you know that?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I thought about that.
Yeah. We don't just talk about a very broad World of Warcraft. We talk about leveling in World of Warcraft, and more specifically, leveling with a previous World of Warcraft player and a brand new World of Warcraft player. I am the previous World of Warcraft player. And
my turn. I am the new World of Warcraft player.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yes, you are the new World of Warcraft player. You are very much progressing, though, which is very nice. You are learning many things. You are building confidence. Map awareness can be worked on, but you have made a ton of progress, and I have seen your confidence grow as we have played, and it's very nice to feel that maybe I've taught you something, or maybe you've just picked up on something.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot. I can't read the map, but I don't really expect that'll ever change, because it's 2016, almost 2017. I have a GPS. I don't need to read maps.
But you don't have GPS in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, no, they should really get it together.
Yeah.
I would love for that to, one of the easy things that they change, I would love for it to be, like, auto-navigation.
Turn left at the Cleft of Shadow.
Yeah.
You are now entering the Valley of Honor.
Do a U-turn. What does... Oh my gosh, speaking of U-turns, man, driving in Florida? I just got back from Florida. In Florida, they're legal, like, everywhere. Everywhere you go, you're allowed to just do a U-turn.
Oh, yeah.
It's scary.
You could do those in New York, I remember.
Yeah, it's scary there, too. Like, I remember I would just be sitting at a red light, and people would just... I'm like, oh, I guess I get to do that.
I kind of think they should be legal, especially... I think they should be legal in less populated areas than heavy populated areas, but it seems to be the inverse of that.
Yeah.
Which is odd.
I mean, maybe in less populated areas, they're not quite as, like, you don't need to do them that often. But man, like, I was on, like, a 6-laned road in Florida, and, like, 2 lanes were allowed to U-turn. It was, like, it was pretty intimidating. Anyway, so, yeah. Bret, guess what?
What?
Yesterday when I was on Facebook, I get these World of Warcraft spams in my Facebook news feed now because I play, I guess, and Facebook likes to intrude on your life. And I saw Vice, which is not normally a link I would go to, but I went to it because it was about World of Warcraft and it looked important. And it says, fans have... This article is from December 19th, so just a couple days ago. It says, fans have resurrected a very old version of Blizzard's MMO. Blizzard's popular MMO. 2004 is the new 2016. And I won't read the article to you, but it says it has relaunched it says there was a server Australia. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. And
they shut it down, and now it has been relaunched over the weekend as Elysium. The site. What is it?
I'm not looking at it. I used to know how to pronounce it.
Elysium.
Right.
That's how it looks to me.
That is where we played, remember?
And then they shut it down. But that's what I'm saying. Does this article, it kind of leads me to believe it might be back up. Because the servers had gone down, like, right when we started playing.
Yes.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
It is. But I could only imagine, if we were still playing on that, I don't even know that we would be level 60 yet. I don't think we would be. I truly believe that. So if that gives you any perspective on... because the XP would be the original rate. We wouldn't have that refer a friend. We wouldn't have those 2 heirloom items, giving us an additional 20%. There wouldn't be Dungeon Finder. Not that we utilize Dungeon Finder. Yeah, I don't think we would be.
Well, do that.
We might be sitting around 49. That's what I would give us.
That would
49
be
or 50.
But I was reading... like, if you go to the article, you don't get to see it, but if you look at the Facebook post of the article, you get to read people's comments, and there were a couple that had stuck out to me. There was one that said, back in my day, which you often refer to the good old glory days of yours that you played WoW in. Back in my day, we had to craft our own bullets. The struggle was real. And someone said, there's no way I could go back to vanilla WoW. Only way you rated them was hardcore, and you still had to grind gold all week to pay for repairs. Sorry, but I'm not investing time like that ever again.
Repairs and elixirs. Yep.
So there were just a couple, back when earning enough cash for a mount meant something. Like, there's just some comments I was like, oh man, Bret would like to see these, because he always talks about his grandpa days in World of Warcraft.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
On to the point here.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. Did you discuss everything you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting and relevant. Sometimes we ramble in the beginning of the podcast about irrelevant things, but this was a relevant ramble.
Right. Yeah, that was relevant. That's good. Glad to hear it.
That's all I have.
So we left off. Jess, do you remember what level we were?
73.
73. We were 73 last time we spoke, and we were headed to Grizzly Hills. But on the way to Grizzly Hills, we stopped to grab a flight path. And we stopped at a place called Venom Spite.
We did.
Venomspite is a Forsaken town, which Forsaken and undead, those are synonymous. And we were able to get many quests done in this area. And I stopped here to get the flight path, but also as I stopped, I was like, oh man, I really like this undead area. I really like the undead towns. I like how they look. And I've been kind of dying to start an undead character, just because I like the starting zone for undead, and I like the undead cities. And this was one of them. So I said, let's not go to Grizzly Hills. Let's actually stop here in Dragonblight, and we can do quests here. And so we did that. And
when we walked in, there were just quests everywhere. Like, it was pretty overwhelming, but there was... sometimes when you say, let's quest here, I'm like, can we? Is there stuff for us to do? And the second we walked in, it was just, an overwhelming amount of quests.
Yeah, it's nice. And what's really cool about these, and we're going to try to... This is kind of a unique area, because all the quests, or almost all the quests, all take place in a city to the south called Hearthglen. It's New Hearthglen. Is that correct?
It is.
New Hearthglen. The original Hearthglen, I believe, was a city in, Eastern Plaguelands, and I believe the Argent Dawn was part of that city. I could be wrong. But it's not fully untrue. So we started questing in Venom Spite, and we're just gonna kind of go through some of the chains that we thought kind of stood out. Not every quest stands out, but there are many chains in here, so we have some picked out that we wanted to talk about. And looks like our first one up, and these aren't necessarily. We don't necessarily have these in order, just because it's very difficult to keep track of everything in order. But, so some of these will be out of order, so if you're remembering back, you're like, nah, that quest doesn't unlock until you do this quest. I don't know how you remembered that, but, we don't care.
Okay. Bret's rude, I'm not, it's okay.
It's not that rude. So our first quest is this Need to Know quest. And they want to know what New Hearthglen is up to. So, all you need to do here is head down and find some plans that are in New Hearthglen. So these are they're called daily orders. You pick them up. There's one by an Abbey, one by the barracks, and one by the beach. These are simple, I think they're like scroll-looking items.
This wasn't that simple, Bret. You're really misremembering, because they were pretty hidden, and we had to search for them. They were each in buildings, and you had to go through the buildings. The first one we found... Don't sassy shoulder me. The first one was really easy, which made it kind of misleading, but they got progressively more difficult to find. In fact, I found the last one because you couldn't.
Oh, okay. Well.
Sorry, I just had to tell you because you were lying to our fans.
That's fine. No, it has been a good amount of time since we've actually done this. We've done a lot of content since then. So usually looking at the quest will jog my memory. Sometimes that still happens, except my memory is wrong.
Well, I also, number one, I remember everything, and number two, I especially remember the things I do better than you. Because there's not many. So when it happens, like, it's in there for good.
That's very good. The Spy in New Hearthglen. Do you remember this one?
We had to deliver... Yeah, I remember this one. We had to deliver orders to Agent Scully.
Agent Scully.
Agent Scully. And you're like, tee-hee. Like, you were all excited about me meeting this person.
Well, when there are real-world references, I think that...
Yeah, it was good. I just... Like, I can tell when you're excited for something to happen before it happens, and then I'm just like, what's gonna happen? I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, it was Agent Scully, which was pretty cool. We weren't, like... we did... There wasn't anything like... Agent Scully should have been in, like, I don't know, like a spooky place.
Yeah.
This wasn't that spooky.
Or, I do believe there's a place called Area 52 in WoW.
Oh, yeah, that would be perfect for her. Did she know about that place?
I don't know if she knows about that.
Someone should tell her.
I'm not even 100% sure that is true. I think that exists. I'm sure a quick Google would find that. Yep, so we deliver the plans to her, and then later on, I believe she gives us more quests. And actually, this next quest is given by her. So this next quest, we have Without a Prayer, and we have to steal Bishop Street's prayer book. This prayer book is, I think it's inside the chapel, like the church.
Yeah, it is.
Do you remember having any trouble with this? I just remember there being kind of a named mob inside, and you went in, killed him, and looted his book.
Yeah, you had to kill. And were you not with me for that? I don't remember if you were with me for that.
I don't know why I wouldn't have been with you. We do almost every single quest.
Yeah, well, I just meant were you... Because sometimes I'll work on something while you work on something, and we'll be next to each other, but not like...
Right, but when we have to loot an item, it doesn't... We both have to loot it.
Well, yeah, I do remember doing this. Are you asking me if I had trouble because you remember me having trouble?
No, I'm asking because I don't recall any kind of hitch-ups.
I don't think there was any trouble
hiccups.
Either. Did you just say hitch-ups?
I said hitch-ups.
But
I combined hitch... What did I combine? I didn't mispronounce...
Glitches and hiccups?
I don't know. I thought there was a word that started with an H. Were there any
Hold-ups?
Hold-ups and hiccups?
Would still be hiccup. You said hitch-ups.
I said hitch-ups.
I don't know.
Were there any hitches?
This was easy. Glitches.
It wasn't glitches.
But Every Time I Die is a good band. Anybody listening should check them out. I just wanted people to know. No, this was simple. The next quest was also given by Agent Scully. She wanted us to steal the image of an Onslaught Raven Priest, and then return the Banshee's Magic Warrior to her after you've done it.
Right, and I remembered this before, like, I was waiting for this quest to happen. Not that it was anything significant, but I remembered it while we were in the area. And so you had to find these... They look like Shadow Priests, is what they look like. And you had to find them, and you just had to use an item to steal it. And then I believe you got a disguise from that.
You did. You did get a disguise, because... That's why I don't remember this quest, because you did this without me even, like, noticing what was happening, and then you had the disguise, and I didn't, and I went walking into a room and aggroed things that you weren't... I went to follow you, and you were like, don't do that, because you don't have the disguise. So then I was a cat, and I did stealth, and I just walked away.
Yes, we had to sneak in and talk to a person. So I believe that's a Fall from Grace, which is the next quest. We had to speak with... What is this guy's name?
High Abbot? Speak with the High Abbot. It wasn't a name, it was just...
A title.
Yeah.
This is all he is. He has no name, no existence. You are nothing but your job.
Well, I think that's pretty common in Catholicism, which is the
like the Pope?
Like the Pope, or
like, I don't know the Pope's name. He's just the Pope.
I think it's
John
Pope
Paul.
Yeah, I think
John Paul II.
I don't know if that's the
or was that the old
that's
one
the
that
old
left?
Pope.
Okay, this is John Paul III. This is Sean Paul.
I'm pretty sure he's Pope Francis. I think that's the current Pope.
That sounds very familiar.
That's John Paul was the Pope when we were kids, I think. Or
yes.
At least, like, I remember that from being younger.
Yeah.
Pope Francis is the one that's currently. But yeah, in Catholicism, it's pretty common to not just have a title or whatever.
Oh. So you have to speak to Pope Francis,
No.
and then you have to ring the Abbey bell, which... This was funny because I can remember having to kind of fight my way through a building and go up steps in order to get to the Abbey Bell and pull the rope. But Jess here, that was before. Jess just like ninjas the bell from like up on top of the building. She flies up to the top and she's like, "Oh, the rope is right here. Just click it." So we just clicked it.
Well, I went up there, I said, the rope's right here, click it. You're like, wait, where are you? Where's the rope? Because you were in the building. Like, you had started to go in and do what and I was like, it's out here at the top of the building.
Because back in my day, we couldn't fly at this level, and we had to run. Jess is gonna cough to death. We had to run through the whole building and fight our way to where we needed to be.
But back in my day, a couple weeks ago, I just got to fly up to the top and hit the bell.
It's nice. It's nice. Jess, the truth will out you is the next quest.
That's the truth.
Is that the truth? Did it out you?
Wow. This one's also from Agent Scully. She has asked us to acquire, not steal, because that's a mean word, acquire the diary of a High General, Abendus, and delivered to the High Executor at Venom Spite. So we had to go get a diary from somebody. We had to kill him and loot it, and then
now this High Executor Roth, W-R-O-T-H, he has a name, and I think High Executor sounds way cooler than the Abbott guy. What was the other guy's name?
High Abbott.
High Abbott. Like, I would want to be known as High Executor. Like, if you couldn't say High Executor Bret, and you just wanted to call me High Executor, that sounds pretty cool.
I wonder what well, I'm not going to finish that sentence because that was silly. I know what an executor does and is, but I wonder what that means to Catholic people.
Well, we had to deliver this to Forsaken people, the undead, so I don't think that's quite the same. I don't think there is a High Executor in Catholicism. So we take this book and we take it back to him in Venom Spite. And then we have one more quest in this chain.
Just for the record, there's not, because when I googled it, only World of Warcraft people came up. So it's not a real thing.
It's not even a real title. Wait, did we miss a very important detail?
You missed the best one. I've been saving it for you.
I was thinking
this is the one.
The Fall from Grace one. Is that the one that we really?
No, it's Do Unto Others.
Is it? I don't think it's this one.
It is. It's a fall.
Yeah. So guys, let's go. I kept talking about it.
That's the High Abbey. That's the ring about the High Abbey.
Well, that's the bell. But also, when you talk to this guy, when you talk to the High Abbot, he follows you, and then he jumps off a cliff because he says, "You think I can't see through your disguise?" And then he says, "No, I will leave this world in a manner of my own choosing." And then he just jumps off this cliff in the back. And I was really excited for Jess to see that, but I ended up completing that quest. Jess didn't have the disguise, so she had to stay stealth and stay away from me, and she didn't really get that lore. But
yeah, I got to watch it, but I didn't get to be part of it.
She doesn't have her sound on either. I don't know that he actually spoke it, but she plays with her sound off, so even if he did, I don't know that she ever reads the text that people say, though.
I do. I read it.
Anyway, guys, sorry about that. I totally forgot, and I thought that thing was really cool, so I wanted to talk about it. So do unto others is our final quest in this chain.
The High Executor Ratfi and Venomspite has ordered us to return with the head of the High General.
And the High General is a woman in the back of a cathedral, a church, and she has like a level 80 elite with her, I think, and it kind of scared me. I thought that maybe it was just a level 80, but the level 80 didn't attack, so it was cool. She just came out and he kind of said something about not caring about her, or you will serve your purpose or something. Then I think so she died, you could loot her, and then I wanted to run out because I was scared. I was scared the level 80 was going to aggro and attack us and kill us.
But he did not.
He did not.
He didn't aggro at all. He doesn't attack, actually.
Is that what this says?
It is.
Yeah. So I had Jess just kind of back up, and I kind of like watched him as he came all the way out. I didn't know if he was going to walk out of the church. He finally just kind of keeps following the path out of the church, and then he just disappears. He despawns. So that was that quest chain. We have a couple other ones. Some are as long, some aren't as long. So, Jess, do you have a means to an end pulled up next? We might have these in different orders.
I can pull that one up. I had a different one next, but I have a means to end.
Okay, so this one just has the 2 quests. And again, all these quests start in Venomspite, and they take place in Hearthglen, New Hearthglen, which is just about, I don't know, 10 seconds of flying south of Venomspite. So it's really nice. You're just back and forth from New Hearthglen to Venomspite, New Hearthglen to Venomspite, New Hearthglen. Works out really well. So a means to an end. Jess, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, there was a couple. There were just 2 quests in this, and they were from Apothecary Vicky Levine. She has asked us to carry the Levine family termites to lure Foreman Kaliki out and kill him.
Yeah, so you took this item down to like a sawmill, like a lumber mill. Mm-hmm. And then you open this barrel of termites, and obviously the termites would eat the wood. So termites, the foreman doesn't want the termites there, so he came out, and then you just kill him. Pretty simple thing. I think there was something very similar in Eastern Plaguelands that you had to do a quest from many years ago that I don't know if it still exists or not. You want to talk about the next one, Jess?
Yeah, the next one, she asked us to use her apothecary's burning water to set the sails of the sinner's folly on fire.
So you think that burning water is something like wildfire?
Maybe.
Ooh.
Maybe. That's a good
reference.
A good reference. I didn't quite get. Is she like Daenerys?
Yeah, I guess so. Daenerys or
Cersei? Well, I said Daenerys because they set the ships on fire, and it was her fleet that was set on fire, but she didn't set it. That was.
Sorry, these are spoilers. Maybe if we just don't tell them what show it is, then they won't be considered spoilers.
Yeah, they're not. There's a lot of people named Daenerys. That's a very common name. Daenerys and Cersei are in a lot of shows with fleets and wildfire.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Those are my favorite people on Seinfeld. Okay, so you had to catch these ships on fire, and I think
that was still funny. I'm sorry.
I think what you were meant to do is catch the sails on fire, and then there were a ton of deckhands. There were a ton of mobs on this ship, and Jess is gonna laugh to death. I don't know if she muted her mic, but she's crying. She's crying right now. I'm not that funny. There were a ton of mobs on the deck, and you had to throw this water, and I think they would run to the fire, and then you were supposed to sneak downstairs, kill the captain, and then come back up. Except we just tried to kill all the mobs, and I think we ended up dying because we didn't read into the quest.
Correct.
Because oftentimes we were just turbo moding through WoW and not always slowing down, even though we should really do that. That is that quest chain.
Yeah, that was it for that.
Very short. We have a lone quest. I don't know if you have this one pulled up, Jess. Blighted Last Rites. This is very simple. All this is you have a flask, and the quest giver wants you to use the flask on the Scarlet Onslaught prisoner that is right next to him. I'm not really sure why he doesn't do it, but he wants you to do it. And there's a human in a bone cage right next to him, and you use the flask. And I believe the guy starts choking, or he let's see what happens to him.
I don't even have this quest pulled up, so
that's totally fine. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't think what happens to him is very good. So I don't think he dies though, but I don't think it's very nice. He turns into a green slime and then he evaporates. That's kind of like dying. I would count that as dying.
I would too.
Yes. Stealing from the siege smiths.
I do have that one pulled up. That's the one I've been waiting on.
Let's hear about it, Jess.
Well, not for, I haven't been waiting on it for any specific, big reason. Don't be misleading. Okay.
All year long.
All year long. This is my favorite thing I've done in WoW ever. It's Death Guard Molder, which isn't, totally, Agent... It's Scully and Molder.
Right.
But it's not spelled right. But I wonder if they did that on purpose. Anyway, whatever.
I think they did do it on purpose. I still think that the placement is very strange that they put it here and not a UFO area, which I do believe exists in WoW.
Anyway, Mulder has asked us to retrieve 6 Siege Smith bombs. So, we had to go.
We did. Now, this was not in New Hearthglen. This was northeast. And actually, this was right near Sonaxramas, which, Jess, you have heard of that name before.
I have. It's the only thing I've ever spent money on in Hearthstone.
But you didn't really spend money on it. You spent gold on it, right? You didn't spend the old U.S. green dollar, did you?
I think I did, Bret.
Oh, you did? No, that's totally fine. I just didn't think you did that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you wouldn't have. I don't think you ever played
have gold.
Yeah, you wouldn't have played enough to have gold. That is true. So Sonaxramas, the raid from Wrath of the Lich King, is located right here. It's floating above these bombs. And I tried to go in there, but we couldn't go in there because we were not level 80. So I even converted the party to a raid because I'm like, Jess, we got to go in and look. I want you to see a raid. You haven't seen a raid yet. And not that we could really get that far, but you could go into each quarter and look around. So that would have been cool to see that. So yes, we go up here, collect bombs, and we have to collect bombs for the next quest. We have to bombard the ballista. And I believe ballista is the plural, or ballistae is the plural.
I don't even know.
Ballistas? Yeah. So we had to use these bombs, and we got to get into a tank, didn't we, Jess?
Mm-hmm.
We got into a tank, and we had to drive that tank. No, wait, that's a different one, Jess. This one goes down to New Hearthglen again. Yeah, that's a different one where we have to go up and kill the Scourge. This one we go down and we kill the Ballista down in New Hearthglen. They're in front. You're giving me a very puzzled look.
But we had to walk down there?
Or fly.
I thought we got a vehicle for this, but I guess I'm thinking of the wrong thing.
Yeah, that's a different one. But yes, you have to go down New Hearthglen once again and blow up some very large ballistas. Ballista. And I guess they're average size. Anyway, to the next one, Jess. Do you have one you want to take on?
The next one I have up is the Rod of Compulsion. Do you have that one?
I don't, but let's hear about it.
So, this is to deliver the Torturer's Rod to the High Executor, Roth, at Venomspite. So, someone kind of backtracks us a little. Again, these weren't really in any certain order. But we had to deliver this to him.
Yeah, this rod is looted off of the torturer in the basement of one of those places in which you have
from Lovecraft's hand. Yes. He drops.
Yes, you the quest you have to torture him in a different quest, and then he drops this items that gives you the quest, and then you can take it back and get some XP for it.
The next one in that chain was that the High Executor Roth at Venomspite has tasked you with using the Rod of Compulsion on Commander Jordan. He's a cannoneer. Actually, it's on a couple people. So, Commander Jordan, Commander Zierhut, Blacksmith Goodman, and Stablemaster Mercer. So we had to go around to 4 different places.
Now, is this the one where they denounce the...
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you had to, like, kind of torture them until they denounced their affiliation with...
Yeah, you couldn't just go up and kill them right away, which is what I did. You had to hurt them a little bit.
Well, WoW has taught you that, especially vanilla WoW has taught you, like, kill everything. It's probably part of a quest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we have any more in that chain?
I don't. That's all. That was all for that one.
Now this next one starts with a quest called Give It a Name. However, I don't know that we necessarily did that quest. I think we were able to hop in the middle of this quest chain somehow, which most of the time you cannot do that. But the Give It a Name quest starts in, I think, the Howling Fjord. And we didn't actually visit that area, so I know that wasn't it. This was just a quest to visit Venom Spite. And so once we got to Venom Spite, we were able to do a quest called The Forsaken Blight and You, How Not to Die. So we did get some ectoplasmic residue.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember where that was located, Jess?
I don't.
Yeah, I'm trying to, it's not, that's not jogging any memory.
Yeah, and because I didn't have the whole quest chain, I kind of closed out all of those. So I don't have...
That's totally fine. However, the next one I'm sure you remember is the Emerald Dragon Tears.
Yeah, I do remember that one.
So this is your first time seeing, like, so this to do this quest, you had to go down to the Emerald Dragonshire, which is just west of New Hearthglen, and there are a couple other areas like this that are just like this emerald kind of fantasy, like,
yeah, it
really...
was very like fairy-esque. It looked very like fairy garden to me. Very different from where we were.
Yeah, and I don't know enough about the lore. I know there's something called the Emerald Dream and the Emerald Nightmare, and that has to do with Ysera. I don't really know much more than that. Ysera, though, is actually sleeping down here. Ysera is a very large green dragon. She can also turn into human form, which many of the dragons can do. So yeah, you had to go down here. There were some fairy dragons you could see down here, which if you guys play Hearthstone, you know about the 3/2 fairy dragon that is not targetable by opponent spells. And Ysera also, which is the legendary 4/12 that is pretty...
Why do you remember that? That's stupid.
Strong card. Why do you
remember what's on those cards in a whole different game?
I don't think that's that crazy. I could tell you what some Magic the Gathering cards do, and I haven't played Magic in a very long time. Anyway, so after that we have Spread the Good Word. Oh, I'm sorry, the Dragon Tears. They're just green crystals. Yeah, they're green crystals on the ground. They kind of blended in. I remember
and it was kind of funny because you had taken this quest, and apparently I didn't. And I followed you down here, and you're like, where are they? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what are we even doing over here? And everything was green, and I didn't know what was going on. And it was because I didn't actually even have the quest. I had to go back and get it. So I was super lost when we got down here, because I didn't know what you were talking about.
I almost remember you finishing this before I did, because that's when I said, oh, you don't have to dismount to collect.
I did finish it before you did. I went back and got the quest and still finished it before you did.
Yeah, because it's not having to dismount is just such a privilege, because you not only do you not have to dismount, so it's like there's the mount time, but you can keep going even if you're in combat. That's what really slows you down. Like, if I dismount to collect something and I get into combat, I either have to run till I get away with it, till I get away from this mob and he de-aggroes, or I have to kill it. And then I have to remount. Dude, if I run, like, most places are so dense that if I run, I'll just aggro more. Right. So, like, not having to dismount during collection quests is incredibly helpful.
Yeah, maybe that's why you get XP. Like, maybe that's how you get ahead of me. Because of little stuff like that. Because you get XP when you kill stuff, and because I don't ever get into combat, I don't get that XP. Maybe that's how... Every time, like, Bret and I will get to be playing this, like, I'll start ahead of him, because I'll make sure I do my stupid daily cooking and fishing quests just to stay ahead of him a little bit, because by the time we're done playing after a few hours, he has gotten considerably ahead of me in XP. And it's pretty much like anytime I make a big effort to get ahead of you, like anytime we sit and play for a couple hours after that, by the end of it, you're ahead of me. Maybe it's little stuff like that that's making that happen.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fair to say considerably ahead. I get about maybe, 20 to 50% ahead.
That's a considerable amount to me.
I suppose it is if we're doing the exact same quest, then we should be exactly on the same... Yeah, okay, that's fair. So the next quest we have Spread the Good Word. This is the one where we go north and we get in the vehicle. I was excited to do this one. I remembered this one well. And we had to take these, like, catapult and ride them up from Dragonblight up back under Sonaxramas to kill the hungering dead. Do you remember doing this one, Jess?
I do.
Yeah. So, I think you only had, like, one ability, and that was to shoot the catapult. You just kind of right-clicked on the mouse to adjust the pitch, and then just fling the catapult, and kind of do an AoE effect. You had to kill 30 of them. Between the two of us, I mean, it probably took us more time getting up there than... Yeah. It went by pretty quick, because we shared quest progress. The Forsaken Blight is the last one on this quest chain. You know what? And I don't think we did this one, because I'm looking, and we had to deliver this to Agmar's Hammer, and I don't think we actually went over there. So I think we maybe left this one. All this would be, though, is to go over and talk to someone in Agmar's Hammer. Dr. Sintar Malpheus. We didn't do that one.
No, we didn't. I'm reading it, too, and I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, it's totally fine. So next one up, if you don't have a preference, Jess, I have one up.
Go for it.
Okay, fresh remounts. This was cool. This also took place, Venomspite and Hearthglen. As I said, most do. You had to go down to Hearthglen and steal their war horses. And so you had to go down and find the knights. Now this one was kind of tricky. I remember Jess having just a little bit of trouble with this. You had to make sure you were targeting the knight, the rider, and not the horse. Because if you killed the horse, then you couldn't mount the horse.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble with this because I killed all of the horses. Like, every time. This one, I did not enjoy this. It made me... Because I was, like, actively trying not to touch the horses and they died.
Yeah, and I would hit them with, like, AoE damage from my Mind Seer. But they wouldn't die. They would just kind of take some damage. So you killed the knight, and then you were able to mount the horse and then ride it back up to Venom Spike. And it's considerably slower if you're used to your 150. Mounts. Yeah, your 150% speed increase on your flying mount. And not only is it 50% faster on your flying mount, you don't have to worry about any kind of obstacles, whereas you do on the ground mounts. That's it for that fresh remounts quest.
Yeah. What one do you want to talk about next?
Let Them Not Rise. Do you have this one?
I do. Cool. I do.
So, as you were down in New Hearthglen, there was, you had to open up, so you got a Container of Rats item, which is a very cool item. And you had to let the rats pick clean the corpses of 15 Scarlet Onslaught members in New Hearthglen. This was a very nice, like, side quest. And I don't even know if you call it a side quest, but you could just kind of do this one, as with many of these, as you were down there anyway. I mean, you were back and forth this whole time, so you just, after you made a couple kills, you would just open up these, use this item near the dead guys, and the rats would come out and, in a South Park-esque way, eat the person.
Yep, I remember that one.
Jess, pick us out another one, please.
I have one more string. It's just two, but they were two together. It was the Cycle of Life quest. Do you remember that?
All right. Well, let's hear about it. I probably do.
Nashira, the garden keeper at the Emerald Dragonshire, has asked you to slay 5 Emerald Sky Talons. So, while we were down there doing the emerald, collecting the green things, we had to kill 5 green dinosaur-looking dragon things. Pretty basic quest.
Were they the fairy dragon? I thought we had to shoot something down from, like, attack something from the sky. I thought they were some kind of birds. Or am I misremembering?
That might be right, actually.
Okay.
But...
So, I remember killing... I don't remember having a quest to kill the fairy dragons. Maybe we did, though. I'm not really sure.
Maybe these are... Maybe that's what they're... Would you remember them being called fairy dragons?
The green guys with the wings are
yeah, that's
like
what
bright
this
wing.
was for.
Yeah. Okay, so we killed them. And then what's the next one after that, Jess?
The plume of Alistros. I don't know. Alistros. We'll say that. That sounds best. It was the same person. Same person wanted us to get a plume. They gave us an item, the Sky Talon Molts. You had to use it to throw it into the air. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes, and that brought a big named mob down.
Yeah,
yes.
It did. And we had to get his plume.
Right. That wasn't a big fairy dragon, though, right? That was like a big kind of bird thing.
Yeah,
Was
and
it? That's what I thought that was. That's what I remember it being.
That's what... It was a bigger version of the other things. So if it's a bird, it's a bird. If it's a dragon, it's like... I don't know how you're describing them, but it's the same thing but bigger.
Yeah,
Looked a little bit more bossy.
I think they would look like the Windrock things that we fought, like in Yeah, they're kind of just big birds. Jess is showing me on this with this technology we have. Yeah, they're just big birds. They kind of have like a green tint because of the one thing, but they're not the fairy dragons.
That's the little one, and then the other one was just the same thing but bigger. Like, they look very similar to one another, but one you can tell is a boss. It's bigger, bossier.
The boss bird.
I might have sounded far away because I had to move my mic to show you my computer screen.
That's okay. We'll survive. Do you have any more? I have, I believe, one more.
One more single one or one more?
I think I have one more. That's all.
Okay, go ahead. What is yours?
I have Material Plunder. This one is we have to steal 8 Scarlet Onslaught armors and 8 Scarlet Onslaught weapons. Once again, from Venomspite to New Hearthglen. So these were just things you could loot. They were just kind of randomly placed throughout New Hearthglen. New Hearthglen consists of many buildings and churches and a very human place, houses. There was like a lumber mill, and these could be found throughout this. It's pretty much all.
Pretty basic quest.
Yes.
I did have a couple more, but if you don't have them up, then they may have just not been important.
We can. I don't know that we talked about No Mercy for the Captured.
No, that's the one. That's a 2 quest.
Yeah. Okay, so I do have that one. It looks like we had to go. So apparently, New Hearthglen has captured some people from Venomspite, or Forsaken from Venomspite, and you could see them, and they were locked in cages, and we had to go kill them in the cages. So it's pretty brutal quest, in my opinion. That's really like, I don't know. That's really harsh in my point of view.
Yeah,
so
we didn't even let them out of the cage. Like, we just killed them in the cages that they were locked in.
Yeah, and they would come, like, when you would get to them, they would say, "Oh, are you here to rescue me?"
Yeah.
And then you would click, like, you had a reply you could click, and it was like, "Not quite. I'm afraid this is the end, counselor or engineer Burke." And then they just turned like hostile, and then you could attack them and kill them. So
yeah.
And they were just locked in a cage, so it wasn't like they could... Like, I think if you just backed up and you had range, like, they couldn't even deal damage to you. After that, we have Torturing the Torturer. which we've mentioned this one earlier.
Yeah, that's the one that we had to... This is when Lovecraft dropped his... Yeah, this is the one that got us to the High Executor Wrath.
Yeah, so did you... So, Jess, Torturer Lovecraft, did you know that is French for Torturer the Craft?
You're so stupid, Bret.
Did you...
You're so stupid. You just
you know that?
Set me up for something so serious, and your face looks so serious, and you're so stupid.
I was sharing my
jokes. He doesn't even have kids.
My foreign language knowledge.
These dad jokes are dumb. And I'm so sick, and you're making me cough.
So after you tortured Lovecraft, I think he dies, and then you can loot his body for that item, his hand.
Yeah.
And
you
then
have to torture him, get information. After you get the information, then you kill him. Then you get the hand, and then you go to the other quest.
That is true. Just hit me with a couple more.
Well, I have one up. Let me see if it's relevant. We had a wanted, the Scarlet Onslaught. We had to kill 20 members of the Scarlet Onslaught and report to the High Executor Wrath again. That was a pretty basic quest. You just had to kill 20 of these whatever Scarlet Onslaughts. They were just people, humanoid-looking things. That was very simple. We didn't get any item with it. We didn't do anything special, just basic killing. That was all that one was about. The other thing I have, did you talk about Blighted Last Rites? I don't remember.
I don't believe so.
With the flask of Blight. You remember that?
Flask of Blight.
Yeah.
I think, is that something to do with the prisoner next to the guy?
Yeah. Did we talk about that?
We talked about one of them. I think you had to do a couple experiments on him.
Okay. So Apothecary Vicky Levine, again, same person. Like, a lot of these quests were within the same people. She asked us to test the Flask of Blight upon a prisoner. So she did give us an item. We had to, he was in a cage. We had to test it on him. I don't remember if it killed, I don't remember what it did to him, but...
Yeah, it's tough to remember. Sometimes the comments will say what happened to him.
But he was, standing right beside her. I do remember, it was kind of silly. It was, again, one of those things where it's like, why don't you just do it yourself?
You could just save this golden experience and keep it for yourself. Well, guys, that's Dragonblight. That's what we did in Dragonblight. We headed to... Where did we head to after there? I think we stopped in Dalaran, but we're not going to get to that this episode. We are going to get to that next episode. We stopped in the capital city of Northrend that goes by the name of Dalaran. And we also hit up... what was that city called where him and Nessenwary was?
Oh, man.
Not the city, but the region. Not Nagrand. Sholazar Basin?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
So we are re-encountering him at Nessenwary, which my love for him. I'm very happy to see him again.
You you always like him.
Yeah, he's my favorite dwarf.
Guys, there's a video on Facebook right now of a bald eagle that's getting ready to hatch babies.
I imagine those are very ugly.
I imagine it's going to be pretty ugly, too. 709 people are watching live this bird sit in a nest and wait for these birds to hatch. Bret loves animals.
I don't mind animals, I just...
Loves animal videos.
Some are okay. Guys, if you want to subscribe or rate us on iTunes, that'd be great. If you don't, that's also great. We also are up on Google Play Music, that's what it's called. And we're up on Stitcher.
SoundCloud?
No SoundCloud.
No SoundCloud. I did that last week too, sorry.
Yeah, old episodes are on SoundCloud, but not new episodes. So don't even mess with the SoundCloud.
We have a Facebook, Azeroth Rediscovering, a Twitter, it's called A Rediscovering, a Gmail if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.
AzerothRediscovering@gmail.com. Send us emails. I would love to get some emails. That would make my day, maybe even week.
Oh man, yeah.
Probably not a whole week. At least a day though. Jess, do you have anything you want to add to this closing?
I don't. That's it.
That's
Next
it, guys.
time, see you in, where are we going, Dalaran?
Yeah, Dalaran and Sholazar Basin, and guys, I think we'll even be able to wrap up Northrend
I
and
think so.
the Wrath of the Lich King on the next episode. It might have to be a little bit of an extended episode, but I think we can wrap it up.
Yep.
See you guys.
Bye.